This is part two of my reminiscences of famous events in history. Today we're going to talk about the Apollo 11 moon landing, which took place on July 20th, 1969. This was just before I turned 18 years old, and I had just won a national high school newspaper movie reviewer contest sponsored by Scholastic Roto magazine out of New York City. And I was given an all-expense paid trip for two to Hollywood. This would have been my first trip to California. Originally, I wanted to take my girlfriend, but she was underage like me, and so I had to find someone age 21 or over. So at first I asked my older sister, but because of her work schedule, she wasn't able to go. So her husband, my brother-in-law Glenn Yerby, had some vacation time accrued, and so he was able to accompany me. So the evening of July 20th, 1969, we were walking up and down Sunset Strip and checking out all the local scene and color. And then we went back to our hotel. We were put up in a suite at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel across from Grauman's Chinese Theater. And we came in and turned on the TV, and sure enough, there were the black and white footage of the landing on the moon. And we could see Buzz Aldrin coming down on the ladder and walking on the moon's surface. And they would show the replay of Neil Armstrong doing the same thing. And it was just amazing that the whole world seemed to be united at that moment. And like hundreds of millions of other people, later we went out and looked at the moon out in the night sky and imagined the reality that there were human beings walking around up there. So it was quite awesome and inspiring. When I got home a few weeks later, my family had saved the newspaper from the Chicago Tribune, and the front page of that was printed in color for the very first time, and it was the brownish gray color of the moon with the title "Man Lands on the Moon." And I remember the first sentence, the first paragraph of the story was, "Today, men from the planet Earth walked on the moon." So that was quite an incredible story. Later on, my wife and I would visit Cape Canaveral, Florida, and we actually got to touch a little piece of moon rock, which was in a special display. And also when my daughter and I were in Washington, D.C. at the Air and Space Museum with her Girl Scout troop in 2005, they also have a little chip of the moon, been rubbed by countless numbers of fingers, people trying to clip off little tidbits of it with their fingernail, no doubt, but it's pretty firmly locked in there in lucite plastic. So, but still, you could say that you did touch a piece of the moon, which is a lot of fun. Later on, also with my daughter's Girl Scout troop in Alameda, California, there's a naval shipyard, and there's the aircraft carrier from World War II called the USS Hornet. And this was the actual aircraft carrier that recovered the Apollo 11 capsule when it splashed down in the ocean. And the three astronauts were taken in there and put in special quarantine suits and put in like a silver Airstream camper because scientists weren't sure whether they would pick up contaminating bacteria from the moon and spread it throughout the Earth. So they were kept in quarantine, and that actual Airstream camper quarantine vehicle from NASA is inside the aircraft carrier there, the USS Hornet. And so Jennifer and I both got to see that up close and peek in the windows and stuff. So that was very cool and exciting as well. Of course, later in 1976, we had an unmanned craft land on the planet Mars and send back live pictures from Mars in color with that beautiful reddish soil and the beautiful horizons So that was also very unforgettable. So that's all for this episode.